Or now it's not.
Say, is that get open next month?
Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 5 PM, April 21st, 2025, and it's time to call the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. Ms. Jones, roll call, please.
Mayor Barnett,
Present.
Mr. Austin,
Present.
Gross,
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Please stand for the pledge. All right, good evening, and thank you, everyone, for being here. Is there any announcements or public comments that does not pertain to the agenda? Danny, please, with Discover Downtown Franklin.
Yeah, hi, thanks for letting me pop in here. I was having a meeting with Krista today, and we realized we didn't have official approval for our Spring Vintage Fest, which is happening this Saturday. So I've already worked it out. We've had meetings with the police, the fire, the street department, but we just I want to make sure we do it official and go on the record for the closure of the parking lots. No street closures for this at all. And then the other thing is for our First Fridays, which is on the evening of every First Friday. I think Krista has an image there for you. We are trying to help our east side businesses feel like they're more of a part of our central downtown. And one of the things that they would like to do is we're going to host a drink truck and a food truck in those 3 spots there. And yes, Julie Stewart is on board with this. She wants it there. So we're looking just to block those 3 spots for basically half a day on the first Friday of the month for the warm months to have food vendors there. And then I think Krista has the maps for our Spring Vintage Fest also.
Okay, and I think, Danny, just so we can clarify, why are we waiting until now? I think there was just a little bit of confusion when the park come for their
Yeah.
stuff, and
Yeah.
Discover Downtown Franklin thought they was a part of that.
Yeah.
The parks did nothing wrong, just so
No,
you
no,
know,
no,
Chip.
no,
I'm
not
not
at all.
saying that at all.
Not at all.
But there was a little confusion of why we didn't do it all at one time.
Yeah, we had our department head meeting and I was there on that. And I just assumed wrongly that Holly turned in our maps with that. So I'll get you all the rest of our maps for the next Board of Works meeting, but this one was just a time crunch.
Danny, I apologize because I haven't seen these things, but when you said parking lots, that does not include the county's
No,
parking lots.
so this right here, this one here is the, basically exactly where the farmer's market is, plus the one that's directly north that is city controlled. It's the one that they've done for years at the Spring and Fall Vintage Fest. So think straight across the road from Shell Creek, that portion of it, but not the one
Where the
on the
county
corner.
parks
Yeah.
it. And
then-
nothing on the north annex across
No,
from the art.
no, and then the only other one is that smaller public lot with the permeable pavers across the road from the Boys and Girls Club,
Okay, thank you.
kind of by the entrance to the college.
And I do find it kind of funny that Julie is good with this, and I'll just say it because she has called me twice wanting to make that 2-hour parking, because Friday nights, she says people park there and they don't come to her business. I'm just
Well,
putting it out there, so.
I called her today to make sure it was cool. She told me that I might have to beat the people before the restaurants, but I said, well, if we go through Board of Works, we'll have signage out there, so. I also just happened to bring some annual reports for all of you. I'll have Chip pass it down if he doesn't mind.
Mayor, do you need a formal motion for that?
Yeah, and we have 2 different requests. One's for the parking of the food truck on First Fridays, and the second,
The food truck would be there in front of Salvage Sisters.
Okay, make a motion to approve the food trucks for the 3 locations in front of Salvage Sisters and the dates.
for the First Fridays
Yeah,
of
for
what
first.
months?
It's listed on that photo. It's just the warmer months.
The first
only.
Fridays of
May.
May through October.
May through
Second.
October.
Yeah.
And that is the first Friday.
Yep.
All right, I will
May
second.
2nd, June 6th, August 1st, September 5th, and October 3rd.
Because that does not include the July.
But this year we took July off because it's a holiday.
Correct.
Okay, Kenny made the motion, I'll second. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next item, Ken, would be the Vintage Fest.
Okay, make a motion to approve the Vintage Fest parking as presented
September 26th.
September 26th.
April
from-
26th.
Excuse me, April 26th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Okay, any other announcements or public comment that's not on the regular agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will go on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda for the meeting minutes, April 7th Board of Works meeting.
Second.
Did you say approval of claims, Ken?
And also approval of claims, I apologize.
Okay. And you second the approval of claims?
I did.
Okay, so.
Sorry about that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. No old business. We'll go into new business. Request to allow a projecting sign at 201 East Jefferson Street to project into the right-of-way of Jefferson Street, approximately 54 inches, with a clearance height of 14.3 feet. Green Sign Company, Kevin Sims.
Yep, we're just asking for that encroachment to allow the sign. And then another thing I'd like to bring up too would be to coordinate with the board like we did on the elk sign, blocking off them 2 spots to the south, because we're going to need our large crane in there to be able to install that, where you can see my truck and that car.
Okay, block off those 2 parking spaces to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that would be wise to do that, so.
Yeah, do it the night before so we don't have any problems of trying to figure out how our crane's going to
Okay.
access the install.
And Brett and Street Department takes care of that part, so.
Yeah, just shoot me an
And-
email and
Okay.
let me know
All right.
a
We
few
did this
days
the
in
last time. It
advance, because
worked
we
out
got to
great.
give 24-hour notice, so.
We'll do hopefully more than 24.
Yeah,
Give you
just so we
heads
can
up.
post it so nobody can park there, so.
Okay,
Give him at least 48, because he
Yeah,
needs
I need
24 to
24,
post it.
yeah.
So,
So,
at
I'll
least
make that
48.
note on here.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
And then Joanna, I asked you today, and you told me, yes, it got on the agenda. It passes all of our ordinances, and that's why we're here asking to hang over the right-of-way.
Correct.
So, okay.
All right, move to approve a projecting sign at 201 East Jefferson Street as presented,
And the 2 parking spaces with the brick.
plus the blocking of the 2 parking spaces to install the signage.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Okay, the next one, bonds. Matt McElroy, you can just read it all, Matt.
Do you get paid by the word, sir?
I should. Yeah, I'm here to, the first one is requesting subdivision performance bonds to be released for Kingsbridge Section 1. The one to be released would be 5361495 for street signs in the amount of $14,502. And then I'm also requesting the subdivision maintenance bond be accepted for Kingsbridge Section 1, 5863447 for street signs in the amount of $3,021.25.
Okay, we can do both of these together, correct?
Yes.
So we need a motion to do that.
Motion to release the subdivision performance bond for Kingsbridge Section 1 and acceptance of the subdivision maintenance bond for Kingsbridge Section 1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next one is requesting the following letters of credit, surety agreements, and bonds be released for the bluffs at Youngs Creek, Section 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5B. Maintenance letter of credit and subdivision maintenance surety for Section 1, LOC 19083-10-1 for street trees, landscaping, and streetlights in the amount of $15,125.00. LOC 19083-10-2 for sidewalks, $20,836.50. LOC 19083-10-3 for survey monuments and street signs, $2,306.25. Maintenance letter of credit and subdivision maintenance surety agreement for Section 2, LOC 19093-10-1, street trees, landscaping, and streetlights, $21,062.50. LOC 19093-10-2 for sidewalks, $47,214.50. LOC 19093-10-3 for survey monuments and street signs, $3,050.00. Performance bond for Section 3, SU 1176975 for earthwork and erosion control, $289,421.70. Performance bond for Section 4, SU 1188926 for earthwork and erosion control, $384,855.90. And performance letter credit and subdivision performance surety agreement for Section 5B, LLC 6297-30-1 for erosion control in the amount of $224,047.86. Also,
Matt, maybe you ought to take a break right there to break these into little bites.
okay,
And perhaps the motion would be to approve releasing of the maintenance letters of credit for Sections 1, Section 2, the performance bonds for Section 3 and Section 4, and the performance letter of credit for Section 5, subject to acceptance of performance bonds.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. That helped.
all right. Request the following subdivision performance and maintenance bonds be accepted for the Bluffs, Youngs Creek, Section 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5B. Maintenance bonds for Section 1, 208 for street trees, landscaping, and streetlights, $15,125.00. 268209 sidewalks, $20,836.50. 269435 survey monuments and street signs, $2,306.25. Maintenance bonds for Section 2, 269436 street trees, landscaping, and streetlights, $21,062.50. 269437 sidewalks, $47,214.50. 269438 survey monuments, street signs, $3,050.00. Maintenance bonds for Section 3, 47 SUR 3002140111216 for earthwork and erosion control, $60,296.19. Maintenance bond for Section 4, 47 SUR 3002140111215 for earthwork and erosion control, $80,178.31. And then performance bonds for Section 5, Section 5B, 269439 for erosion control, $224,047.00. So requesting those following subdivision performance and maintenance bonds be accepted for those sections.
So moved.
Second.
Works for me.
Okay.
Tina was all over it. She was ready.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Now,
you.
I will just say, I was looking around the crowd as he was reading all that. I'm gonna bring some toothpicks the next time, so everybody hold their eyes open.
Can I hold my own up?
I know. And I'm sorry we have to put you through it, but believe it or not, you have to read them into the record. So thank you for
You
doing that,
nailed it,
Matt.
though. You nailed every one of them.
Yep.
Problem.
Nice
Thank you.
job.
All right, next item, approval of job description, city engineer, civil technician, planning director, project manager, and utility restoration inspector, planning director Joanna Tennell.
Good evening. With the changes proposed in the Planning and Engineering Department, there are the 5 job descriptions that are being presented. The reason behind this is we are restructuring. Previously, the city engineer was the department head for Department of Planning and Engineering. That is being modified to the planning director being the actual department head. In addition, a number of these job descriptions were already on the books, with the exception of the utility restoration inspector. So the changes for all of the positions is a number of them referred to reporting to either the city engineer or the planning director, based on the time that the job description was created, because previously the planning director was the department head of planning and economic development. So those changes just were updated to refer to reporting to the department head of the department. That way, in the future, if something changes, it's already in place. For the city engineer, it was revised to delete the responsibilities associated with being the department head. In regard to the civil technician position, that job description was actually the same as the project manager. The difference was based on education. So that way, when we initially, I guess, created those positions, if somebody had an engineering degree, they would come in as a project manager because they could do a little bit more. If they did not have an engineering degree, they were a civil technician. This job description was changed significantly to actually reflect the majority of that work assisting the city engineer and project manager for construction of both city projects and developer-led projects, and then also fully managing the street cut permits with the utility restoration inspector assisting that position in the field. And then for the planning director, the majority of those job responsibilities were the senior planner 2 job description, and then added the responsibilities of being department head. The project manager position, there were just a few changes, updating, working with the planning director, city engineer, and utility restoration inspector. The only new job description is the part-time utility restoration inspector, which is going to assist mainly the civil technician, but also rest of planning staff for field inspections. Their main focus is going to be street cut permits and following utility work. So those are ready for approval.
I know it took a lot of work to actually get this all ready too, so. Any questions?
I have none.
I'll move to approve the revised job descriptions as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanna. Next item, 2025 Police Department Fleet Lease Discussion. Street Commissioner, Fleet Manager Brett Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I provided you all a hard copy. It's been a Monday, so I apologize. The original attachment is incorrect, so I wanted to give you an updated version. Before you is the 2025 police fleet plan as far as vehicle acquisitions, and then the schedule of vehicles to be traded. And just for reference, on my page, they were royal blue, but on yours, they're probably just black. But the 2 trades that are highlighted are actually scheduled to end up at Franklin Schools as SRO replacement vehicles. So just wanted to highlight that. Maybe T and I will discuss that at a different meeting. So, and then also included is, this year I did it a little different. In the past, we've worked really closely with Tim Holmes. Always has done a great job, but based on the current state of questions around around Senate Bill 1 and what our revenues are going to look like, I felt like it was important, more so now than ever, really, to go through. I went through the Indiana Bond Bank to see what competitive lease rates were through their HELP program, which was Hoosier Equipment Leasing Program. And what came back was an original bid from Crossroads Bank, to give you the full story of why it was a Monday. And their original rate was 4.65. And in discussion with Ms. Gray today, part of the caveat to the bond bank and to banks solidifying their rate is a bank-sponsored rate is the city's debt load. Well, forgive me, Ray, but I forgot we're building a new wastewater treatment plant. So obviously our debt level, if you will, in the future will be higher than what I had claimed on our application. So that was a oops by me. No real penalty other than 20 basis points on the loan. So it went from 4.65 to 4.85. Still, I think, unbelievably competitive. Tim's rate, I think, was just about 6.25. So over the life of this lease for the police vehicles, it's just short of a $15,000 savings. So feel like it's still the right mechanism and doing all the right things. Appreciate Ms. Gray catching me on that and apologize for that confusion. But it's still a very competitive opportunity. So all I really want to get approved tonight is the green light to move forward with the purchase of the 10 Durangos and the 2 trucks. And then also the approval for the trades to be traded in for credit towards the purchase of the 12 new vehicles. You'll also notice on the second page, I met with the mayor before end of last year, and as we were talking about budget, he was able, I won't say it was a we, it was more of a he, was able to find some additional opportunity for some cash reserve to be utilized for the police purchases this year so that we don't see all these inconsistent spikes potentially in their 400 series. So there was $300,000 that was reappropriated basically into the Board of Works capital for $300,000. Our total spend, if you see on the page, is $669,130 and 58 cents. Our trade value is $51,500. Utilizing the Board of Works 300 capital and cash makes our lease obligation $317,630.58. I typically go ahead and get a little bit of extra money, so we're doing $325,000. So there will be hopefully a balance of $73,669 that goes unspent. If it's unspent, it just gets applied to our very first payment. So I hate to be razor's edge because it wouldn't take much for across 12 vehicles to have a $7,000 expense that maybe we weren't prepared for. So back to what I need from you tonight is approval to move forward with the purchase of the new and then trade in the trades for credit towards those vehicles. And then at the next meeting, we'll have the resolution and hopefully all the lease documents for you to then approve based on this amortization schedule that's provided.
Brad, if I might supplement, first of all, no apology necessary. That's why we work together.
Yeah.
That's why we work together, but we really have two things going on, and just to refresh your recollection on why we do it this way rather than going out and doing bids and then getting bids back. First of all, it's not nimble enough to respond to interest rates, but there's a couple of things under the law. Number one, we use for the actual purchase of the vehicles, the QPR rates. So when we buy these from Thompson, from Fletcher Chrysler, they are already approved at the state-approved rates. So that's why we use a QPR. So that is already done. Those are the rate that government agency is entitled to get. The second thing is, under the law, technically leases aren't required to be bid, but as Brett indicated, we'd like you to have options. And so by going to the bond bank, they do, if you will, the bidding for local municipalities and go out. And what you will find is there are a few small banks that really target this use. Crossroads is the bank that gave us the best bid. They're a small institution. They're an Indiana chartered institution. I've done a little research on them and spoke with their representative. They're a small bank. They're only about $500 million, which is small by virtue of typical charters, because most of the charters are outside the state of Indiana. But what they can do for us, because of the difference in the interest rate, which is still lower than any other rate that was quoted for us, is when they fund the lease, which they do, they will place the lease money in an escrow account, and then we will earn interest on that escrow account in our name until we actually pay for the vehicles. Because you'll see here, we're not paying for each vehicle all at once. And so, frankly, the 20 basis points that is different because of our sewer bond, it'll wash out, because the money will be in an escrow account in our name, and we will earn interest on it, which will then be funded to us too. So it really is the lowest deal we could find anywhere, and Brett put a lot of time into finding it, but it meets all legal requirements if you're so inclined to go forward with this.
And also, I just want to add, Brett and I knew for several years that we was going to have a balloon payment this year.
Yeah.
And whenever we had some funds left over from last year's budget, I went to the city council and asked the city council to add the $300,000 into the Board of Works. So the city council's already approved, and that verbiage was in that whenever we put the money in there, that it would be used for this.
For this, yeah.
So,
Yeah. We knew at some point in our plan of being able to do this lease program with the police vehicles, to be able to, basically, it's so we can roll them more efficiently, right? We were, I think their 400 series budget's been around 3 to 350 for years, and obviously, as you can see, that buys you 6 cars a year, just in cash value, right? So we could never do what we're doing, and ever dream of catching up, right? We would replace every vehicle once every 11 years or 12 years based on that replacement plan, which obviously would not work. So, but we knew going into this that there would be a year where we would either have to significantly increase their 400 series, or we'd have to be creative on where we could find additional funds that were not really excess, but left over in a budget line item. So that year is now, and hopefully we can continue to continue with this program with minimal impact to the overall city budget, because obviously next year, for the next 5 years, every year we'll have one of these that matures and falls off. So
So about every 5 years, we're going to see this, approximately.
potentially, it's all the unknowns, right? I mean, when we started, I had basically a 10-year plan of rolling this out. The things I didn't anticipate was, 7 and 8% inflation. I mean, the price of the cars has all but doubled in the 6 or 7 years we've been doing this.
Yep.
Obviously at a much quicker rate than what we had originally sort of forecast. So, yes, in theory, Kenny, we
Well,
would
and the
hope to be able to do that, but,
And the upfit cost is increased dramatically, too.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that's a
and,
great
Yeah, basically doubled as well.
Yes.
It's shocking to me as I look at my original spreadsheet from when we first did this.
Yep.
Just the sheer cost increase of doing business as a whole for this project. But I think at the end of the day, it's still the right thing to do for Franklin, and be able to continue to keep those officers in relatively new and up-to-date equipment. And it's offset by our lack of breakdowns and, right, I mean, we would see it somewhere. We'd either have to drastically increase our fleet maintenance budget, or we put it towards replacing vehicles more frequently, so, which I think we all agree is the right thing to do, but.
I'd sure like to lock in that 4.8% in the next one.
Me
7
too.
years from now, because I don't see that happening.
Well, I jokingly, we did one 4 years ago, and I think it was like 2.4. Those are the rates I miss, but
Yeah.
I know that's probably never
I
coming back.
don't
but-
see those coming back
No.
anytime soon.
But,
Well, let's be hopeful.
yeah, right? So happy to answer any questions. Apologize for the long explanation, but it,
No, Brett, thank you, and continue the amazing work that you do with this fleet management program that you've been doing for years, and it's amazing the work that you're putting into this and saving the city money over time, and I just appreciate your efforts.
thank you.
so do you need a motion to move forward? Is that what you're?
Yeah, I'd like a motion just to move forward with the purchase of the
Purchase
vehicles, and
and the
then
trade-in.
also the trades, and then you can, just the trades as presented, because I can obviously give the clerk's office a copy that has all the VIN numbers and mileage and all that stuff.
Right. And then, because you haven't approved it, I haven't seen the actual lease, although I've talked to their representative about what's in it, and what, like I said, the escrow and the interest bearing. And so then I will bring that back to you at the next meeting and have the lease before, that you
Right.
can look
We'll
at,
hope- yeah, we'll-
before you approve it, the actual lease agreement.
I just have one question.
Yes.
So is there a line item in the budget for these lease payments?
So it's all paid for out of police 400,
Okay,
out of their capital budget.
okay.
Excluding the 300,000.
Correct, this year, yep,
Correct.
yep,
And that 300 is in the Board of Works 400 series.
yep.
Okay. Okay, I will move to approve going forward with the purchase of the vehicles and I guess the down payment of $300,000 from the Board of Works budget.
Yep.
Authorize the trade-in on the purchase?
Authorize the trade-in on the purchase.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tina.
Okay, next item, place 30, or 40-yard dumpster on road in front of 70 Banna Street between April 19th, May the 2nd for 7 days with plywood or 2x4 underneath to protect the pavement. Don Harmon, I don't think he's here, but Joanna and I talked about this morning, and it's a project that we had, it was on the agenda, it got taken off the agenda, and now it's back on for, the date is more certain now than it was before. It is a regular parking area there, so I don't see any issues with it.
And he apologizes for not being present. He had requested that we put it as the last item on the agenda in hopes to be able to make it in time. But yes, he and I have spoken, and the mayor and I have also spoken.
I will move to approve a 30 to 40-yard dumpster on the road in front of 70 Banta Street between April 19th and May 2nd for 5 to 7 days with plywood or 2x4s underneath to protect pavement.
Just in reference, is that the 19th through the 2nd, or is it the 22nd through the 2nd?
22nd.
22nd?
Where do you see the 26th?
Just
On
on
the
the,
request.
on the request.
Oh.
Here.
Okay, because mine looks different now, but okay.
Okay, my bad, I just
Oh, no, it's good, thank you.
throwing it out there.
Okay.
Is that right?
So do we know what the correct dates are?
The request is between the 22nd and the 2nd, and he is going to contact us with a definite date.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, scratch that. I will move to approve the 30 to 40-yard dumpster on road in front of 70 Banta Street between April 22nd and May 2nd for 5 to 7 days with plywood underneath.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. If there isn't any other business, we'll go to department reports. Chip, we'll start with you.
Had a good day since the department head meeting. Got a good lead on a landscaper. Thank you, Krista.
Chris is doing it?
Krista's
No,
going to?
I would love to, but.
Oh, no, she gave me a name of somebody. I thought originally it was her, but it wasn't. So only took 9 months to get a name. That's pretty good. So we'll see how that works out. I had another good day today. We have full lifeguard staff at the pool now, so that took us a while to do. We're excited about that. The pool currently has water going into it. It's hard to believe, but it'll be up and running next week. The splash pad will open next week if the weather cooperates, so it's that time of year.
Chip, do we know if the splash pad is okay, or we don't know until we
I'll
actually?
know next Monday when we actually try to start it up. Hopefully it's okay. Last thing I have is this Saturday at 10 a.m. We're still trying to get more than 2 people to come to the Arbor Day celebration at the Urban Forest. The mayor and I both invite you to come and enjoy the day with us. That's all I have.
It's fun. No, I really would like to see more people there. Every year, it seems like that it's only the people on the board and Chip and I, and it really is pretty good to have a urban forest right here in town, and just kind of proud of that, really. So hopefully we get some people to show up and
I agree.
have a good time for an hour or so. Thank you, Chip.
You got it.
Chief Cochran?
Just a couple things. First, appreciate Brett's work on the vehicles. I know we say it a lot, but it's definitely nice to have a fleet that's not broke down all the time. So thanks, Brett, for your work on that. Just for some clarification, I don't see anybody here from the Journal, but the news media didn't do our guys, our narcotics team, any justice or our department over the weekend for whatever reason. With the drug sweep, so I'll just be candid about it. There were 49 warrants. 31 of those warrants were warrants that brought about by our narcotics work. 15 were the sheriff's office, 3 were Greenwood. If you read the article, it perceived it as Franklin Police Department and other smaller agencies were assisting with this warrant sweep, assisting Johnson County and Marion County. That's not exactly the truth. So fact of the matter is, I appreciate our guys. They do great work, some of the best around, in my opinion. Not just because it's our department, but they certainly do great work. And I appreciate them for that. And then the other thing is on Friday afternoon, we'll attend the graduation for Jacob Gordon. He's an officer that was sworn many months back, and he's graduating this weekend, so we'll bring him on board. That's it.
Thank you, Chief, and I do also echo what you're saying. I appreciate our police department on their narcotics team, and all of our police department. They work well together, and whenever I see Dwayne is the sheriff, he's always bragging on our Franklin Police Department on how well you guys communicate and work together, so thank you, guys.
Yep.
Chief Snyder?
We started our new process for new hires last week. We're accepting applications, so anybody that's pursuing the career of firefighter, we are accepting applications now through May 12th. And then I would like to ask the board approval to apply for the Johnson County RMC Roundup Grant. It's a non-match grant. It's just a awarded grant, and just like to have the approval of the board to apply for it.
What is it? I mean, what do we get?
It's up to $5,000 on what we choose to put in for the grant for. So I just like to have the board's approval to apply for it.
I'll move to approve the application for the Johnson County REMC Roundup Grant.
Second.
We have a motion, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, Chief Snyder, just curious, you got the grant from the trustee. Have you guys,
The boat is ordered, and we're getting sizing together to start getting guys the gear ordered, so.
okay, all right, thank you. Sherry?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay. Rick?
I don't have anything, sir.
Krista?
We had the ribbon cutting for the new kites in the Artcraft Alley at noon today, so thanks to Dana and the Public Arts Commission for all their work on that and all the grants that were received to make that happen. We are still taking applications through April 30th for the owner-occupied rehab grant. They can apply online, or I have paper copies for anybody that wants to apply. We have, I think, 11 applications right now, so we're looking for just a couple more of those. 650 Overstreet is nearing completion. They have to finish the deck on the side and the front porch, and then we'll be ready to list it for sale. So I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks that'll be ready to go. Should be good timing with the weather and all of that. And then also we did close on the purchase of the property for Scott Park, the expansion on the north side. So that is done and owned by us and been reported to insurance. And then we requested quotes for reconfiguring that dumpster in the Artcraft Alley, and we have 2 of those. Dana's been working on that as well. So we'll move forward with that as soon as that deadline is up, and we'll be back to you, I'm sure, for additional funding for that. So just a heads up.
Thank you. Brett?
I've said enough, I think.
Joanna?
With the approval of the job descriptions, we will be posting the job openings for civil technician, and then also for the part-time right-of-way or utility restoration inspector.
Okay. Ray?
I found out today about the pumps that we talked about in the last meeting. They're talking like 8 to 10 weeks out. So we're getting closer. So I was also said, or told to let everybody know, we got a SIOA meeting on the 30th, and we've been trying to get everything cleaned up around
Okay,
the
so
plant. And
tell us what that is.
basically, it's where you got a bunch of different operators that come to our plant from different towns and stuff, and everybody just kind of puts ideas together on how to make things run more efficient and better. It's just for operators, and
Thank you.
so.
Okay. Jan?
Nothing, thank you.
Tina?
My name officially changed last week back to my maiden name of Job.
Job? Tina Job.
Job. So you'll start seeing that on things. Jan, I'll get you the paperwork.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Ken?
Chip, I was planning on coming to the tree celebration this weekend. I will not be here. I'll be out of town, but good luck with that. I've been to it a couple times, and it is nice.
Out of town's not an excuse.
That's what I've been told, but I will not be there. Just heads up.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Lynn?
Well, judging from the dress uniforms of our chief, looks like the legal department needs to up its game a little bit in the uniform for meetings, but I don't have anything particular.
All right, I don't have anything. Thank everyone for what you do and appreciate all the people that care about our city. And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.